reminded myself how to do all this again, so let's hope the recording works this time. It's not technology, it's the person. So this is Mrs. Pill's Year 12 Modern History class, 2015. This is the first video I've made for this year, and it's designed to complement the task sheet and the rather detailed scaffolding sheet that I've already provided you guys with. So this sits superficially on top of what is far greater detail in the actual A4 document that came with the task sheet. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so with the essay, there were 2 essay questions for you to choose from. You choose one, and each essay question has a clearly identified, because the question is at the top of the sheet, a clearly identified A4 piece of paper or Word document with a whole pile of points, things to consider. So keywords and phrases, different arguments, people, events to consider in that particular essay, referencing, quoting, all that sort of stuff. But let's do an online version of that for you. If you don't have that, if you don't have the task sheet or the scaffolding sheet, please email me or message me and I can pass that on to you again. Or alternatively, you may choose to contact one of your schoolmates, and that's all good as well. But if you don't have it, can you please contact me? Okay, I'm more than happy to provide it again. World War I, the essay. Okay, the devil's in the detail, as you know. I like lots of detail. Detail schmetail is fantastic. Very good. Detail is more than just a good topic sentence, more than just having good topic sentence all the way through your essay. However, don't ever underestimate the power of a good topic sentence, because that will indicate your argument at the beginning of the essay in your introduction, and then as you go through your essay, for each body paragraph, that good topic sentence will show what direction you're taking. So that's why there's lots of stars, because whilst your essay is more than just a good topic sentence or a series of topic sentences, they are really important. Okay? Stars, they are. More than one. Lots of stars. All right, now, so as I said, use the planner or the scaffolding sheet that you've been provided with. There's a whole pile of keywords and phrases for you to, I've explained to you in that sheet why they've been provided, what their purpose is. If you use those, when I'm marking your work, when I'm looking at your work, I will say, wow, amazing. Look at the versatility of their language in structuring their argument, which is just fantastic, and it makes me do a happy dance, and you get another star. Now, this wonderful piece of artwork here, I know that you know what it is, but just in case you're a bit overwhelmed at the beauty of it, let me explain it to you. That is a signpost, because when you're writing your essay, I need to know what direction you're taking me. And the different arguments, that's why there's more than one arrow, the different arguments, or the different points, I should say, that you're bringing up to support your argument. And you may even acknowledge another argument as well. So signposting your work all the way through is really important. How can you do that? Well, there's, once again, on that scaffolding sheet, on that planner, there's a whole pile of phrases. I've been really bossy with suggestions, but the purpose of this video here are a couple. You introducing another point or something that you think is important should also be considered. Also to be considered, another factor, another short-term effect, another long-term effect, and internal pressure, external pressure. You can add those into that, amongst others. You're introducing another point of view which you're going to argue against. You might write, however, some may argue that militarism was more significant than nationalism. That's just one example. Then obviously you would unpack that, provide evidence to support your argument, and even provide a quote for the alternative argument that you've acknowledged. Additionally, never underestimate the power of additionally. That word's a lovely word. That'll make anyone happy dance. Don't use the same word or the same phrase all over, every time. Mix it up a bit. Okay, and like I said, there's a list there, so you can cross off the ones that you've used on my my planner. You may come up with your own as well. All right, so talking about the devil being in the detail, well, you've got your argument, you're signposting beautifully, you're identifying key schools of thought or key movements, events, and you've made some analysis about that, but what are you going to use to back up why something's important? Well, these are some examples. So statistics are an example. They need to be referenced. If you're looking at militarism, industrialisation, you might mention the number of treaties that were created over that were formed over a number of years. Stats there all work. Direct using statistics need to be referenced, as I said. Direct quotes need to be referenced. So that a quote is not just something that someone has literally come out of someone's mouth. It's not just the spoken word. It can be the written word, something that an historian has written, for example. If you're using anything that you write word for word, regardless of how it may have initially been delivered, is a direct quote. Therefore, it must be referenced accordingly, and it must be within quotation marks. If you're paraphrasing something, you also need to reference it. Okay? Very important. Don't paraphrase and claim it as your own by not referencing. That is plagiarism as well. Okay, if you're mentioning treaties in your essay, not only do I want the names of the treaties, but we're talking about detail. When was the treaty signed? Who signed it? So who was it between? Why did they sign it? Why did they feel they need to sign it? Who was impacted by that? Why were they impacted? Why did they feel they were impacted? What did that lead them to do? Therefore, how did all of that contribute to an atmosphere of war, which is a key phrase that you might like to consider using in your essay. Talking again about detail, who are the important people? Why were they important? What were their motivations? Think about Kaiser Wilhelm and how he wanted to make Germany a world power, not just the European power, okay? How was he important? How were groups important? How are different alliances important? But going back to groups, how are groups within particular countries important? What kind of impact did they have? Okay. Think about the Balkan region and different nationalities in there, how they might have been important. So looking at your paragraph, you've got your clear introductory sentence, which is signposting where you're heading, and it relates because you're using keywords, it's relating to your task. You've got your quotes in there. Now I want you to reference twice in every paragraph, whether one has to be a quote, and then you can choose whether you paraphrase or direct quote again. You might choose to reference more than that. And you don't need great big slabs of text, okay? You use it to support your argument. Most of the writing should be your argument. Oh, now we've gone through this in class, and you've been through this throughout the years of high school. If you're referencing something, regardless of whether it's a direct quote, which will be indicated with quotation marks, you have your bracket, but the full stop, this is the point I'm making, it's a really easy error. The full stop is on the other side of the bracket. It's never there. Have it on the other side of the bracket. It's a convention. Make sure you follow it. Don't throw marks away. It's not worth it. Now, because I love talking about paragraphs and I love artwork, look at this beautiful hill. Well, with your paragraph, how do you build an argument within your paragraph? You have your intro sentence, which might start with the word also, you know, whatever. Then you've got the comments that you're making, the evaluations that you're making, and you may use signpost words in there. However, also to be considered additionally, to support your argument, you're quoting, you're paraphrasing, which you are referencing. Coming back to the final sentence of your paragraph, you have that final sentence which takes you back to your argument. Now, one thing which I suggest that you do is that you have handwritten or whatever typed on another Word document that appears on, minimised on your screen. You've got the question there, and you've highlighted the key words. So that when you formed your paragraph, you can go back to your question, and you can say to yourself, have I addressed the keywords and phrases in the question? And if you haven't, then you just need to tweak a bit. Far better to do that. Might take an extra minute or so. Do that at the end of every paragraph rather than submitting your essay, your draft to be drafted, and you've gone completely off topic. Okay? Short-term pain, long-term gain. Talking about short-term and long-term, these are the kinds of phrases, regardless of which essay you are writing. In history, it's one of the key ideas that you have to demonstrate an understanding of and an ability to evaluate, analyse and reflect upon are the short-term and long-term impacts of people, individuals, events, how that led to something occurring, in this case World War I. How did it create an atmosphere of war? You need to look at what was happening inside countries, the kinds of pressures and events that were occurring, what was happening outside countries on the global stage that might have been impacting one of the powers, for example. Okay? So short-term, long-term, internal, external need to be in your essay. But I've mentioned that in that scaffolding sheet. Now, one thing that people do, and it seems to happen quite a bit over the years, is that a number of people think that the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand caused the war. It didn't. His assassination did not cause the war. It was a spark that, because of everything that had happened beforehand, all this kind of stuff, all right, that had happened beforehand, the stuff that you've written about in your argument, in your essay, created an atmosphere of war, put alliances in place, plans in place like the Schlieffen Plan, that led to the July days, which then took the country into war. World War One, a significant war like that, it's very significant, gosh, it was enormous, isn't caused by one thing. It's a multitude of sticks being laid onto the bonfire of international relations and domestic and international politics that led to a war on such a scale had never been seen before. Okay, almost there. Bibliography. I want your textbook. I want you to quote from your textbook. Okay, I want to see that referenced in the body of your essay. I want to see it in your bibliography. Any of the handouts I've given you, the YouTube, like the videos we've looked at, are all very reliable from reliable sources, but don't just put the URL in your bibliography. Okay? Our school is signed up to Slaza. Use it. You can access that from home on the internet. If you don't have the password, let me know or ask one of your friends. I can obviously give that to you. And in Slaza, you enter the information and they create the in-text citation for you. They show you an example of that, and they also will create the bibliography. So, once again, it's like checking the paragraph to make sure you're answering a question. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Don't lose marks because you haven't followed correct bibliographic conventions, okay? You don't want to be having a sad face. You don't want this to be you. Look, very sad. There's even some little tears coming down. You don't want that. You want a happy face because you spend a bit of extra time on Slaza to get your bibliography set up. And that's it. All right, let's hope it works this time. Thanks, folks. Any questions? Don't forget to let me know.